titles are on the line at UFC 292 in Boston on Saturday night. In the night's main event, Aljamain Sterling defends his bantamweight championship against Sean O'Malley. Meanwhile, Zhang Weili will put her women's strawweight belt on the line against Amanda Lemos in the co-main event. Sterling has hinted that the fight with O'Malley is the end of his time at 135 pounds, and he's looking to close out that period of his career with a big title defense. O'Malley has been tagged as a superstar by the UFC since his debut on Dana White's Contender Series and now has a chance to make good on the UFC side's investment. Weili is making the first defense of her second stint as champion. She regained the title in her most recent bout, submitting Carla Esparza in the second round of their UFC 280. One clash. Lemos is riding back. 280. One clash. Lemos is riding back. Gawk wins, submitting Michelle Waterson and scoring a TKO against Marina Rodriguez. With so many intriguing fights on the UFC 292 card, there will be plenty of action at sportsbooks around the country. As always, we are looking at each main card fight to identify the best bet for each bout. After a 1-3 result at UFC 291, our record for the year now stands at 21-21. Marlon Vera vs. Pedro Munhoz. Marlon Vera to win via technical decision of 100. This is a tough, fairly evenly matched bantamweight clash. It certainly is possible for Munhoz to take advantage of Vera's tendency to get off to slow starts to edge out a win. That depends on Vera not stepping it up in round 2, however, and he's slightly more technically sound and does have the better power. While taking the Vera moneyline may be slightly safer, Munhoz is very durable and should be able to last the distance. As long as Vera doesn't let Munhoz outwork him over the first 2 rounds, things should go Vera's way on the final scorecards. Mikado Gary vs. Neil Magny, total rounds, under 2.5, 130. Gary has been confident to the point of cocky in his young UFC run. While 3 of Gary's 5 UFC bouts have gone over 2.5 rounds, it's hard to not notice how faded Magny has looked from his peak years in the UFC. He barely escaped his most recent fight with a win, edging Philip Rowe by split decision. Gary is peaking while Magny is fading. Gary can likely find the finish before the final 2. 30 against the 2023 version of Magny in the under 2.5 rounds leaves a bit of space if Gary happens to get his chin checked by Magny. Zhang Weili vs. Amanda Lemos. Zhang Weili vs. Amanda Lemos. Zhang Weili via consistent fighter. At times, she's very impressive and overwhelms her opponents. Other times, she gets outworked and struggles on the feet against fighters you'd expect her to clearly defeat. Weili, on the other hand, is very consistent. Lemos has been stopped before, and Weili has stopped some of the best the division has to offer. Ultimately, just look at how Lemos struggled on the feet against Michelle Waterson and Angela Hill to see why Weili getting the knockout is an enticing bet. Aljamain Sterling vs. Sean O'Malley. Under 3.5 rounds, 150. Sterling's bantamweight title defense against O'Malley feels like the kind of fight that will become clear very shortly after the opening bell. Either Sterling is going to use striking to find an opening and put O'Malley on the canvas with a takedown, or O'Malley is going to blast Sterling in the stand-up and show he can stay standing. Either way, once one man begins imposing his will, this fight likely ends quickly. O'Malley hasn't consistently stopped opponents, but Sterling's desperation if he can't get takedowns will open him up more. And if Sterling can put O'Malley down with any regularity, he's likely to either score a submission or use ground and pound to end the fight.